Welcome to episode 5 of the Two Average Guys Sport Podcast. Literally just a couple average dudes, no formal playing experience, no formal management experience, literally two average dudes talking about sports. My name is Sam. This is Espen, my co-host. Espen, how are we doing today?
Doing pretty good. It's been an exciting week of sports. It's been a lot of fun stuff. It's been crazy, I'd say the least. How are you doing today?
I'm going, man. It's another day in paradise.
Yeah, yeah,
No complaints, but like you said, we had a really good week in sports. We have a lot of great stuff to talk about today. Some NBA, some MLB, NFL, college football. Speaking a little bit more about that because it's coming. It's coming fast, it's coming hard. Some golf action, and then we wrap it up with a few new and different segments, to say the least.
yeah. Let's get started.
All right, perfect. NBA, obviously, we talked about a great week. Tuesday night, we had a thriller of a game, the Denver Nuggets, Utah Jazz, top 5 game I probably have ever seen live. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it was 80-78 for a final score. It was like a throwback to the mid 2000s in the NBA. It had a March Madness atmosphere where everybody was flying all over the place. It was bad offense. It was bad basketball. Kind of reminds you of March Madness a little bit. But yeah, it was Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray saga came to an end. It was a fun series to watch, and hate to see one of them lose. But congrats to Denver for moving on.
Yeah, talking about that game, Mike Conley, he put up the 3 in the last second. You saw the picture of Donovan Mitchell. His arms are oh shit, we might make this. And then
Yeah.
obviously it was like in too. That's the thing. Like it went in and then came out. Like
I
that's
mean, can you really ask for much more potential buzzer beater in a game 7? And I mean, you really can't ask for much
and
more.
especially like a low scoring game, like where points are just hard to come by, like you said, the
Yeah,
bad offense, excuse me, and I would say good defense. It made it such a fun game to watch. It was like a classic
yeah,
boxing match, just a 1-2, um, round for round, pound for pound, really good game. And then last night, Houston Rockets beating OKC. Good, not as good.
yeah. It was a weird ending with the two foul calls, and especially,
Yeah.
I mean, it was bizarre. Oklahoma City, it looked like at one point they were going to hold on for in the game, and then Houston comes back, and it was just really back and forth. And we don't really talk about sports gambling that much on this podcast, but rip to anybody who bet the over. It was at like 215 or 220. It was 90. It was like 99-98 with 7 minutes left, and the final score was 104-103. So there was no offense in the fourth quarter. So
Yeah, they
uh,
just forgot how to play offense.
pretty much, yeah.
And I mean, when you talked about it, it was like WWE almost. Like there was one point, I think like 3 or 4 bodies were hitting the floor, and
Yeah.
there were no foul calls, and you're just like Scott Foster, like what the fuck are you doing?
I saw a video. I mean, I think I counted 4 or 5 flops in a 45-second span when the bodies were flopping. I mean, Harden was flopping, Westbrook was flopping, Chris. I mean, the usual
Are you
suspects.
surprised?
So
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you surprised?
no, of course not.
It was a good game. It just wasn't as good as
Yeah,
Denver and Utah. But that's okay. Obviously, Utah goes home. Denver's moving on to play LA tonight. Probably LA. I would say LA in 5. I don't think Denver. They're good, but they're not as good.
gonna tease my little hot take minute with LA. You'll find out what my thoughts about LA are, but I think both the LA teams are gonna roll past them.
And the thing is, like Utah, I'm not saying they would have been a better matchup, but like Denver, you look at it, they don't have depth. And they have like Michael Porter Jr. obviously, as a Kansas fan, seeing him go to Mizzou, and then play like one game or something like
He
that.
was the most overhyped recruit of all time.
Yeah, but like now he's in the NBA, and honestly, he's not bad, but he's not a starter, which is good. It's just I don't think that they can beat LA.
He's definitely a good role player for Denver. I think he fits into the system well.
Yeah, and like you said, the other LA team, going up against Houston, it's the same thing. OKC, I don't think they'd be a better matchup versus LA, but the Lakers obviously, but I don't think Houston is either. I think Russ. I mean, Russ plays his heart out, but he's not a quality player. And if you disagree with me, that's fine, but he can't hit a jump shot to save his life.
Yeah, Are we? Is Russell Westbrook on the downward trend of his career? You think? You think he's on like the back nine of his career? Because he's
You
he's
know,
he's dropped off the last couple of years.
that's the thing. Like, I would like to say he's on the downward of his career, but like the truth be told is like we don't know where his peak was. There was never a point where we were like, oh, he's a good shooter. Like if he was at the 3-point line, I would leave him open. Like not
Yeah.
open, but I'm not going to play straight up defense. So I think the Lakers are going to head. I think that might be a sweep. Mike D'Antonio gets fired, obviously. You know, losing Clint Capella in last season, I think it was like going to small ball is just not quality. I don't think it's
Yeah.
enough. I think Lakers in 4, Clippers in 5.
And another thing too is, I mean, Denver and Houston, they're both coming off grueling 7-game series where
Mm-hmm.
they've had to compete and fight and whatnot, and it's a quick turnaround time. They each get a day off until their next series. But I mean, the limiting travel is benefiting in their factor. But I mean, still playing 7 games in like a week and a half is a lot of basketball. So be
Yeah,
interesting to see.
like you said, off of that, both LA teams have had a few days off to say the least. They're not, on, off, on. So they've had a few days off. They've had enough rest. But that kind of, leaves us into the next question. Is this the best playoffs we've ever seen? I would say yes.
I would definitely say yes. I usually don't tune into the playoffs right about where we're at now, when the semis start, so
Mm-hmm.
that I can watch. Because usually, I mean, you don't see many 1 and 2 seeds lose games in the first round. Usually, most of them are 4 or 5 games. But I mean, this year it almost has a March Madness feel. I don't know if it's because we never got March Madness this year and everybody's just craving for basketball, but it's been so much fun to watch. I think the games have been competitive. I think I mean, with no home court advantage, I mean, any team could win on any given night. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so much better. And I said this a few weeks ago and a few episodes ago, but at this point, it's talent based, right? There's no
yeah,
home court advantage. It's talent versus talent. And
yeah,
so to go beyond that, we look at Utah and Denver series and then Houston and OKC. They lost, Utah and Houston lost, or Utah and OKC lost by a combined 4 points in the last game. Like
and
that's
you
crazy.
and if you want to like do a breakdown like player by player, position by position on each roster, you would probably say those are the 2 most like competitive teams going against each other in the first round. And look what happened. They went to 7 games, and well, I mean, they were lost by a combined 4 points, like you said.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, obviously having no sports sucked, but now that we have sports and now that we have the NBA, it seems to be a little bit more exciting. And I don't know if it's necessarily the hype, or what it may be, but it's just better.
Yeah.
It's better than previous years. And then, because it's the best playoffs ever, we have to obviously talk about the Western Conference semifinals. I gave my prediction: Clippers in 5, Lakers in 4. What are your thoughts?
I would have to agree with you 100%. I think we're going to get Lakers sweep and Clippers in 5. I don't disagree with you one bit. I would be shocked if Houston wins 1 game, and I'd be shocked if Denver can just keep up with the Clippers. I just don't think they can.
Yeah, like that's my thing for the Lakers at least. If LeBron has a bad night, he has AD. If AD has a bad night, he has LeBron. Obviously they have role players. If James Harden doesn't have a good night like he did in Game 7, well, I'm not trusting Russ to shoot the ball. I mean, he can. It's great that he can score in the paint, but outside of that, he's not an excellent player, and it's just, I don't know, it's uneven. But that's the point of playoffs. But the non-playoff teams that have gone home, a couple of them fired their coaches. Nets got a new coach, Mr. Steve Nash, the Canadian soccer player, who happens to be good at basketball.
Brooklyn dropping a bombshell this morning. I mean, when you texted me that, I was completely shocked. I didn't even know he was being considered for a coaching position. I saw he was part of the Golden State's organization for the last few years. He was a constituent there. So he did win a ring with KD. So maybe that's why they brought him in, is to link him back with KD, because I know they've worked out a little bit too. I like the move. They haven't been a successful organization in the past. So I think, hey, bringing somebody new in is definitely a smart thing. And why not go with a guy who just dominated in the Sixers when he played?
Yeah, dominated for the Phoenix Suns and Dallas Mavericks. Also, they were looking at bringing Dirk in, and Dirk said no. He needed to take some time away from basketball. After his retirement, he was like, I'm gonna go eat 10 pounds of ice cream, and so he did it himself.
Such a nice German lad he is.
Yeah. NBA obviously still going strong, but also the MLB still going strong. Nothing
Yeah.
like there's stuff to talk about, like because baseball is so slow. It's like the news just trickles in.
Yeah, we've reached that point in the season, and it's gone by fast, no doubt. But we've reached that kind of point in the season in between middle of like summer. Well, I guess it's September now, but middle of the season into playoffs is kind of teams are kind of positioning themselves where they think they want to play. Definitely when the postseason rolls around, I think it's going to pick up for people watching. So yeah,
I mean, if I had to say it's like like late July, early August, kind of like somewhere in
yeah,
that time frame. If it was a regular season, it's just like it's the dog days. Like I'm sorry, but I can't watch a 3-hour game on TV. Like if I'm at the game, maybe, but I'm not gonna watch a game on TV and like I'll pass out. I mean, I fall asleep to it like easily, but like I'll pass out. Like baseball is just it's fun, but it's not like until playoffs.
baseball is one of those things you just kind of have on in the background if you're doing something. You're just like if you're like cooking or cleaning
Yeah,
your house or whatever. Like it's just one of those sports you have on in the background until you hit the postseason, in my opinion.
but you know what is exciting when a team puts up 23 runs.
Yeah, rip to the Colorado Rockies and the Denver rip to the Nuggets. Well, no, never mind. Nuggets won, so good for them. But yeah, the Rockies. Holy shit, that was
Yeah,
23 to
I
5.
I had to do a double check. I thought it was the New York Giants, and I was like 23. Like that's a couple field goals. That's 3 field goals, 2 touchdowns. Like Daniel
Guess
Jones had a good
football.
game.
Guess there was a surprise preseason game that broke out of nowhere between the Giants and the
Yeah, the Rockies had a safety
Broncos.
and a field goal. But just a shit show.
Yeah, I mean,
Now,
what goes through a player's mind when you give up 23 runs, or just the whole team's mind? It's like, what are we playing?
yeah.
Like, I mean, it was like 16-0 in the 5th inning.
At that point, you just gotta like quit. You're just like, fuck this, like
Yeah,
bring in like the backups. But it's also okay because we have fights. We got Yankees versus Rays.
yeah, lots of runs and
Who
lots of fights. I didn't know it was a rivalry, but yeah, you can definitely, since you're a Yankees
it
fan.
it's like it's a rivalry, but not really because it's the Rays, and like we can't take the Rays seriously. You play in Tampa, number one, okay, where the Bucks, who had several losing seasons, they were still more popular than you. And then on top of that, they play in a shitty ass stadium, and there are no fans ever.
You don't,
Like you
you
said,
don't, you don't enjoy good old Tropicana, Orange Juice Field?
oh my god, what a terrible name too. I remember you told me the other day, you're like they had a playoff game and half of the arena was filled. Do you
Yeah,
realize how shitty you have to be to move to Tampa from wherever you're from? And then like the Devil Rays were cool, but just the Rays, like the one that killed Steve Irwin, really, really, what a shame. You should change your name.
they should move
Move
out
back
of
to
there.
Montreal.
Go to Portland. Portland would be such a great city to have a baseball team, in my opinion. I mean, they could get a nice rivalry with Seattle. And I mean, yeah, you have to realign the divisions a little bit, but hey, I mean, Portland. I mean, the Blazers fans always seem to be really into it, and I mean, they're pretty passionate about Portland Timbers for the MLS. I mean, just bring them to Portland. I think that'd be a great idea.
Or Mexico City. Or
That's
is that
all.
unfair? That might be unfair. Who
I
cares?
think
It's
they should.
Mexico
If
City.
I mean, if you're going to Mexico, you may as well go to like Cuba and the Dominican Republic. I mean, those teams would be winning the World Series every year.
I was
If it
gonna
was just a team,
say,
it was just like they played like incorporate the Cuban national team into MLB.
yeah, they
They
might
would,
as well. But really, like we said, baseball, it's going strong. It's just going, man.
yeah,
It makes me think about going to sleep. It's just so, it's like rocket, like an airplane that just runs out of gas, not crashing, obviously, just straight.
until we hit the postseason, then we'll wake up.
But it's okay because NFL's coming 1 week
Yeah,
from today.
thank God. Chiefs. I'll be watching the Chiefs a week from today. I'm a little nervous for the season. Defending Super Bowl champs, haven't been in this position in my lifetime, so it's definitely fun. And they got their rings this couple days ago, and so Patrick Mahomes gets his ring, and then he
Yeah.
gets down on one knee and gives it to Brittany. And hey, I
Oh,
mean,
Patty.
yeah, I called this a couple of years ago. I said when he gets his ring, I have a strong feeling that he's going to get a ring and blow a wad on his on that ring. That was a expensive looking ring.
You know what's sad is that she's gonna get like these comments like, "Oh, you're a gold digger," all this. They've been dating since high school.
They went like since like freshman year of high
Like
school.
they've been dating since his ugly days. Don't get me wrong, he's still ugly, but
Uh,
like he has a Super Bowl ring, so I can't talk.
hey, He was on GQ.
Okay, settle down. But I think that the Texans and Chiefs, I think it's going to be a really good battle. I think it's a really good game to open up, the NFL season. I don't know, Super Bowl hangover,
I mean,
or
maybe, but
like worried about the contract, like getting too much, and like having to live up to it.
I'm not worried about the contract because he's definitely worth that since he's the best player in the league. He's going to be in Kansas City for a long, long time. So I have no problem with the contract. He's a humble guy. I think he embraces all the pressure that comes with becoming. I mean, he got his ring super early in his career. I think they really want to start a legacy. So if they want to do a legacy, then they're going to be super motivated to win it again this year. So definitely be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think, I mean, they remind me of the Seattle Seahawks. Like Russell Wilson won, ring in his first few years. And then like they're a consistent playoff team. Like they are a team that you see them on the schedule and it's kind of like an oh shit moment. Like play Seattle like in CenturyLink, like shit. Like talking about good teams, now that I'm talking about bad teams, Jacksonville Jaguars, releasing Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette decides to go to Tampa Bay Bucks, who on paper are probably one of the most stacked rosters I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, if my skepticism is Gronk and Brady. Yes, they were a very good duo in New England. Yes, Tom Brady is the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. But he is getting up there in age, and when you get up there in age, we saw like how fast Peyton Manning fell off with his arm. I just don't. I mean, maybe Brady has one more like solid season in Tampa this year, but it'll definitely be interesting because he's not going to be able to throw the deep ball to Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. But I like the move for Fournette to Tampa.
I mean, if you looked at how New England kind of adjusted their offense last year, I guess even the year before that, really they were throwing these simple passes to the running backs, letting them run simple 5-yard slant routes, letting the wide receivers run. That's something that I would love to see. However, with a guy like Mike Evans, he's one of the top receivers in terms of just throw it up. I would expect him to come down with it. There's Julio, there's Evans, and that's probably it for guys that I would be like, fuck it. Like, unless you're like, get an NBA player, if you're getting like Boy or Bobo or whatever the hell his name is, or Taco Fall to come in, put some pads on. But do you think that this addition, having Leonard Fournette now, I don't know who they had before. I'm pretty sure they had Shady McCoy, but Leonard Fournette, is he going to make a huge difference?
I think he will because he's gotten out of such a horrible organization with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think when Blake Bortles, man.
Yeah, don't forget him. Once you get into a good offense like Tampa Bay and you have Bruce Arians, he had success in Arizona. I mean, he somehow went 8-8 last year with a horrible Jameis Winston, famous Jameis, 30-pick Jameis.
Steal lobster from Publix.
Eat a W. eat that W. By James. That's my impersonation. But no, I think put him into a good system and a good offense. I mean, Brady. I think Brady can make. I mean, he can make us be good on offense.
And I love Bruce Arians because he drinks a shit ton of alcohol. Like he's still on a frat. But on a more serious note, like I see that team going to the playoffs. I see them being the only team that goes to the playoffs from that division. But that's just that's a little sneak peek of the hot take for upcoming NFL season.
Wow, you don't think the Saints are going to get to the playoffs this year?
I don't know. I think this is the year we see Drew Brees fall off.
He's getting up there in age too.
But talking about the Saints, Alvin Kamara on the move? Question mark. Staying on?
Yeah, it's kind of. I know that contract negotiations are going on. That's why he hasn't shown up to practice the last few days. But last I heard, I believe he's planning on staying there. I could be wrong, but I think it's kind of up in the air what he's going to do. They definitely need him. If he's out of there, then he'll be the hottest free agent on the market for this upcoming season. And two, that offense I think is just going to struggle tremendously without his running ability if Drew Brees falls off.
So that's my thing, and this is going to open up a conversation. Are running backs still worth the big money? And my simple answer is no, because running backs are very easily replaceable. We look at the play in year span of them at 3-4 years, which is fine. It's not great. There's probably 3 running backs in the NFL that I pay good amount too, because I think they're game changers. I think Zeke, I think Saquon Barkley, and then I think, Christian McCaffrey, because he can do it all.
Yeah.
But, like, outside of that, like, look at the Kansas City Chiefs, right? They replaced, Kareem Hunt. They, brought in some smaller named running backs, and they won the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson doesn't have Marshawn Lynch anymore. Well, Russell Wilson and Seattle Seahawks go to the playoffs almost every year. So it's just like, with that, you can kind of just plug and chug almost. And I don't know if it's going to hurt them as much as we think.
Yeah. With the running back position too, you don't get like these 10, 15-year careers out of them anymore. A good career for a running back is probably anywhere from 3 to maybe 4 to 6, 7 solid years, and that you call it quits. You get your money, you try and get a ring or two, and you call it quits as a running back. I mean, you just don't see running backs play till their late 30s anymore. Like 30, 31's like the retirement age now for running back. Unless you're Frank Gore, then you play till you're 63.
Yeah, well, Frank Gore's son. He might be playing tonight, Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Conference USA. But in like a serious note, like, my example of the Dallas Cowboys, me being, Cowboy fan, like we lost DeMarco Murray to free agency or like to the Eagles. We brought in Darren McFadden, who was coming off like an injury season, and we were fine in terms of run game. Now we sucked that year because Romo got hurt, surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
But it was just like, you can kind of just plug and chug. I mean, we just saw like, David Johnson get traded to the Houston Texans. Is David Johnson still the same guy like he was, 3 years ago? No. So it's just like, I don't know. I have mixed reviews about it. I wouldn't pay a running back $10, $20 million a year.
Unless, like you said, they're like a freak athlete, like Saquon or Christian McCaffrey, because those kind of guys are freak athletes. And the running back positions change a little bit, where you need to be able to catch the ball a little too, and both of them can catch it. Especially McCaffrey, he's such a dual threat. I mean, he could play wide receiver if you wanted to. He's kind of big, but I mean, I would say those are the only kind of guys out of college I would like definitely give the big bucks to.
Yeah, and like we look at it, these days, look at a guy like Adrian Peterson. Obviously, he's good, but he's just a power running back who runs straight, which is fine if you're trying to score a touchdown. But like, it's not the case anymore. We're not looking at running backs like that. Frank Gore, obviously the same way. Like, there's not. I'm not saying it's a waste of money. I just think, I don't know.
You could spend your money elsewhere, and
yeah. I think there's other positions. I mean, if you take an average running back with a really good offensive line, it's probably going to be okay. Take a great running back and a shitty offensive line, unless you're Saquon Barkley, probably not so great. But that's okay. Because if you need an offensive line, you're going to want them to protect Kirk Cousins, obviously making some stupid-ass comments.
If I die, I die. You like that? You like that?
I not like that Kirk Cousins. What an idiot.
What in the hell is he talking about? I mean, just such an out of context comment to make in these times. I mean,
and so like he made it in July and like it just came out, but like still, what a stupid ass comment. Like COVID hasn't gone down. COVID hasn't, it's increased obviously. But like, what an ignorant and stupid ass comment to make.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Kirk Cousins fan.
I don't think anyone likes that. No one likes Kirk Cousins. Michigan State first, Washington football team backs up RG3 now in the Minnesota. But that's okay because we have college football also this weekend coming up at 2 live.
Yeah, we got some decent games. No Austin Peay and Central Arkansas. We got a couple of games tonight, and then we got military schools are in action. They're always fun to watch. And Memphis is playing too. So some top 25 teams from last year in action this weekend. So it should be fun to watch.
Yeah. Navy, Army on this weekend. Quarterbacks? No. Running backs? Yes. They're going to throw like 3 times in the whole game. And it'll be like 3 times for 2 yards. QBR rate, 0.
Like, pretty much, yeah.
1 for 3.
Yeah. I mean, and speaking of another conference what the fuck are they doing? The Big Ten. Like, do we know? I mean, are they playing or not? I mean,
here's the thing, right? Like, you figure they're going to be involved in the college football playoffs. Obviously, you get so much money from that. When do they have to start the season? what like week kind of where it's like, okay, we can go straight into college football playoffs,
I think they would have to. They would have to start mid-October. That is
which
the
is not going to happen.
no, because we're in early September now, and you need to
Yeah.
get scheduling in place, and you need to get all those logistics factors into place and personnel into place. If you But if they start, it would make no sense if they start after Thanksgiving because these other conferences who are starting next weekend, like the Big 12,
Yeah.
the ACC, the SEC, they're all starting next weekend. They're going to be at the end of their season when the Big 10 starts. So how is that going to work for bowl games and like
Two different
playoffs?
college football playoffs? Question mark. Ohio State getting moved to the FCS.
Ohio State would win 100-0 in every
I know.
aspect.
Could you imagine like everyone's like North Dakota State could beat some like FBS teams? Imagine North Dakota State going against like Ohio State. Like,
Yeah, it would not be pretty.
it would be like 80-0. But we're talking about big conferences. SEC, Georgia quarterback Jamie Newman opting out of the season. The redshirt freshman, I guess it would be.
Yeah, redshirt freshman. Yeah, he was a projected like top 5, top 10 possible Heisman voter this year. I mean, Georgia seems to keep pumping out quarterbacks left and right, so I mean, I think they'll be okay. But it was definitely interesting to see like a quarterback, potential star quarterback at a highly rated school, not wanting to play because of COVID. So I just thought it was really interesting that he would make the decision.
Especially so late into the year, or like you've already done practices.
Yeah.
I
mean, we'll see how it works out for them. I mean, it's definitely an interesting move.
You know what? That's okay though, because we're gonna do our college football playoff predictions before the season starts. Obviously, no Big Ten. Obviously, no Pac-12. Pending, God only knows what the hell the Big Ten are doing. SEC, ACC, Big 12. Obviously, the Power 5 or Power 3, I guess, for this year. Who do you have in your college football playoff?
No surprise here. We're going to go with Alabama at number 1. They missed out on the playoff last year. Nick Saban, there's no way in God's green earth that he misses out 2 years in a row. I think I would probably put them at national championship favorites, honestly. I'm going to put Alabama at 1, put Ohio State at 2, depending on if they play or not. We'll have to see. Who knows if they end up playing. My number 3 is going to be the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So that would be definitely fun to watch. I think, never know.
Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Hey, that'd be a fun matchup. Number 4, crap. We'll go with the wild card. We'll go with Oklahoma State. Why not?
Oh, all right.
Another school from Oklahoma. Let's Boomer Sooner.
Could be done.
Time to get out of there. What about you?
Number 1, Alabama, like you said. It's just no way Nick Saban misses 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I don't see a chance. Number 2, with Big Ten, Ohio State. Without Big Ten, probably Clemson.
I didn't even put Clemson. I was going to say I didn't even put Clemson in mine.
Yeah, you are no Clemson guy, but you need someone that's going to win the ACC, and whoever the ACC winner is has to get put in it. So you just assume it's Clemson.
Yeah.
I'll take like NC State or UNC.
Well, Notre Dame's technically playing like ACC schedule this year, so Notre Dame's like technically ACC this year.
Yeah, but I don't think Notre Dame's that great. They always play good in the regular season.
Yeah.
Number 3, I want to say another SEC team, but we need some Big 12 action. I guess Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Not a Boomer Sooner fan. Hook 'em Hortons, but number 4, I want to say Texas. Just me being a Texas fan, but the boring pick is like LSU or some shit. Not fun, not exciting. Unless it's like Florida, comes up from nowhere.
I'd be okay with seeing Florida in the playoff. They haven't been relevant since Tebow.
Bring back Tim Tebow. Let him pray. John 3:16, baby.
Yeah, that would. I mean, it worked for them the first time. Hopefully, we'll see if it works again.
And now he gets to bless the New York Mets. We have a sneak little preview of the weekend's games. Obviously, we said 2 military schools playing.
Yeah, Army and Navy's on Monday night against BYU.
Labor Day weekend. Who else we got? We got SMU, Memphis. It sucks. We haven't seen like Alabama versus USC.
There was one game. Wisconsin and Notre Dame were supposed to play at Lambeau Field to open up the season. Well, I don't understand how they can't. Well, I guess Wisconsin, they're in the Big Ten, but like
Well,
Notre
Notre Dame was
Dame,
supposed to start off. No. Notre Dame was supposed to play Navy.
that's right, in Ireland.
Yeah, in Ireland. But I'm pretty sure they were supposed to play Wisconsin at like Lambeau Field.
Yeah.
But like, fucking, if the Irish don't want us, that's when you know it's bad. The
Yeah.
Irish like everyone, but that's okay. You know what? We got other sports news.
Yeah, we got a tour, got Espen's weekly golf pick, tour championship time, last event in the FedEx Cup playoffs. Been really fun to watch. I said at the beginning of the podcast a few episodes ago that Justin Thomas would win the FedEx Cup. I'm going to stick with it. Interesting this week how they start the scoring. So the leader starts at 10 under par, and then seconds at like 8 under par, and then 7, 6, and then like 6 through 10 in the standings at 5, and so on. So it's second year they're doing that format. I'm really excited for the weekend. And it's also 2 weeks out U.S. Open, so that's going to be fun too. It's a little tasty treat before the U.S. Open.
I was gonna say we got the next couple of months. We got the U.S. Open, the FedEx Cup final, and the Masters.
Masters, yeah. I'm definitely excited about golf.
Yeah, Dustin Johnson for the win this weekend. Quick little prediction.
Yeah, and then
Dustin Johnson only because of his wife.
Oh, Paulina Gretzky, dude! Wow. And then okay. Yeah, another fun event this weekend. Giddy up! It's the Kentucky Derby. Let's go. Usually it's usually in early May, but of course being postponed due to coronavirus. Kentucky Derby is a Saturday. I'm excited. I always like watching the 3 Triple Crown races. The horse named Tiz the Law won the Belmont Stakes in New York a couple months ago. So trying to go 2 for 2 on the Triple Crown. So it should be fun to watch some horses for 2 minutes and all the degenerate gamblers gamble on them.
That's very much true. Like, there was that one video. There was like a guy like slapping his own ass at the paper. Like,
there's so many of those.
I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, what are you
doing? Reminds me of good old Davey Day Trader.
Yeah, a little Davey Day Trader action. We are now going to go to our segment, the Hot Take Thursdays. 1 minute on the clock to discuss one of our hot takes. Each of us are going to share one. Shall we begin?
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Who are your hot
takes?
Okay,
so my hot take for the weekend is going to be the city of Los Angeles will go undefeated in the NBA. That means the Lakers and the Clippers both will be up 2-0 in their series. Lack of rest for Houston and Denver is the reason that they will be up 2-0. Like I said earlier, we're going to get LA in the finals. What's your hot take?
Well, hold on. Does Jamal Murray score more than 25 points?
In any game or this weekend?
This weekend.
Yes, in one game he will, yes.
All right, my hot take is the American Athletic Conference, which is SMU, Memphis, and Navy. They're going to go 3-0 this weekend. Navy over BYU. The other two, I'm pretty sure they're favored. But Navy over BYU. BYU is a Mormon school. It doesn't drink soda. It doesn't do anything. Navy, on the meanwhile, it doesn't really give a shit. They just do push-ups all day. Navy over BYU. SMU over, I think, Texas State. And then I don't know who Memphis is playing, but it doesn't really matter. That's our hot take minute of the day. And thank you very much. To continue the podcast, let's see, what else we got? Oh, we're doing our news segment.
Yeah, new segment. New segment for this week. So each week we're gonna kind of use our acronym TAG. Two average guys. We're gonna tag a team. It could be a team, a player, a moment from the week. We're each gonna have a winner and loser of the week. I'll start out. Both my winner and loser of the week coming from the great state of Florida. Winner is going to be the Miami Heat. Just the fact that they're up 2-0 on Milwaukee. Didn't see that coming. I don't think many of us saw it coming. I thought Milwaukee would sweep them. Jimmy Butler seems to be adjusting very well to being a Miami Heat player. I think Miami Heat, got to give them a lot of credit. They are definitely my strong winner of the week. And then a loser, we're going to go a little bit farther north in the state to Jacksonville Jaguars for not only getting rid of Leonard Fournette, but their organization is such a dumpster fire. They have a very strong shot of going 0-16 this year. So I'm definitely cheering for them to be the 0-16
for Trevor?
team.
Question mark.
That's another reason why I think going back to the college football playoff, that might be another reason why I think Clemson doesn't make the playoffs, is because Trevor is thinking about good old Jacksonville.
Yeah, a little bit further south, that Georgia boy. But like the truth be told is, every year we look for an 0-16 team. This year it's Jacksonville.
For sure. Who's your winner and loser?
My winner of the week is the NBA fans. We got a great Game 7. Utah obviously lost, but ultimately Denver won 80-78. Also the Houston game over OKC. Another really good game, not great, but we'll take what we can get. And then, as you said earlier, the Miami Heat going over the Milwaukee Bucks 2-0. Pretty sure Game 3 tomorrow night? Question mark.
Yeah, I believe so.
Friday, yeah. I think it's on Friday, but that's okay. Yeah. Now my losers of the week. Well, Kirk Cousins making ignorant comments. Who gives a shit? Don't wear a mask. I'll be fine. Like, you like that? And then after that, he has to drop a comment and apologize because what he said was wrong and rip to Kirk Cousins.
That's the funniest when like these athletes just make stupid comments and then they have to apologize for them. Like you basically just get roasted into making an apology.
And that's my thing. Like, why? Just like, why do you have to say some ignorant shit? Like, do they think?
If you don't have anything good to say, then just don't say it.
Yes, it's not that difficult.
Yes.
But that's okay because you know what? It is what it is. Kirk Cousins is dumb. He gets too many hits on the offensive line, too many concussions probably. Shouldn't be joking about that, but that's okay. That's all I got. You got anything else?
Yeah, a quick shout out to my friend Jackson Dudak. He designed our new logo over the last 2 days. So new updated logo for our Twitter profile pic. You can see it on Spotify. We tweeted it out. You can see it on YouTube. Great work by Jackson. Appreciate it, man. It looks very nice and clean, very professional. So yeah, it's and then also gonna post this episode on Spotify. So episode 5 will be available on Spotify, and we'll work. And hopefully this one uploads to YouTube. We did have some problems with the last one, so hoping that it can upload to YouTube. What about you? Do you have any more comments?
I do not, but another great episode. We'll be back on Monday, Labor Day, shall we?
Yeah, good old holiday episode.
A holiday episode with some Navy over BYU.
And also,
that's why Navy has to win it, because it's Labor Day.
Definitely. And also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter. It's going to be T_A_G Sports. It's going to pop up on the screen here. So go ahead and follow us on Twitter, and then like and comment on YouTube, or if you want to reach out to us on Twitter, we're all for it. Want to engage in our listeners, and if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything you want us to talk about, we're definitely here to listen to that.
Yeah, give us a comment. I was reaching for a golf ball here, but that's okay. As you said, follow us on Twitter, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, and then that's all we got for today.
Yeah, it should be a fun weekend of sports. So looking forward to talking to you next week, Sam.
All right, see ya.
See ya. Have a good one.
You too.